I get a hit. I got a standing ovation from the whole stadium. I think if you let me train for a year speed walking, I could do it. There's, reports of, aliens there.
Welcome into the latest edition of Chasers Chat, presented by Lamson Dugan Murray. I'm the voice of the Omaha Storm Chasers, Nick Batters, and this week we're chatting with catcher Brian O'Keefe. We have to start with the Big O chant that you've been getting at Storm Chaser home games that started with our superfan Jan.
Go Big O!
What was your reaction when you first heard that chant? And it really does seem like you and your teammates have embraced it this year.
Honestly, at the beginning I didn't really think much of it, and then the dugout really kind of started getting into it, and then it kind of just after, I think it was after a homer, I did the Big O thing, and the dugout was dying, laughing. They were all in on it. They said he was fired up, and it was just one of those things that just caught on, and we just rolled with it since.
So you made your major league debut in 2022 with the Mariners, and then had a good stint with Seattle last year. What was your welcome to the big leagues moment when you got up?
When my first day in the big leagues ever was when Cal hit the walk-off homer to send us to the playoffs for the first time in 21 years. Yeah. And then the next day, because they didn't know when we were going to clinch or whatever, the whole series was sold out. So I started the next day in front of 50,000. I get a hit. I got a standing ovation from the whole stadium. And all the guys were like, you might honestly have the coolest first 3 days in the big leagues. I got to celebrate a postseason berth. The next day I get my first big league hit. I mean, it was a pretty cool weekend for sure.
What is your best Jirsche story?
I mean, there's a bunch. It was probably this year, he got ejected on one of the games, and I forget what song was playing. It was maybe, it might have been on the Christmas in July one. And Mike was just absolutely letting the umpire have it as this was in the background. Everything about it was just so perfect. And I was like, can we get our own camera view of that? Because it was right in front of our dugout. I was like, can we please just get the audio for that, please?
The Olympics just wrapped up. If you had to play an Olympic sport or train to play an Olympic sport other than baseball, where do you think you'd have the most success?
We had this debate the other day in the clubhouse. Where I would have the most success, I think if you let me train for a year speed walking, I could do it. Cycling, I think not long distance, but the sprint stuff, I think I could do. And then the stretch one, just because I've done it inside, but I've never actually been in there, maybe rowing. Okay. Maybe rowing, yeah.
What is your favorite Storm Chasers jersey that you've worn this year?
Our City Connects are good. Yeah. I like our City Connects. I'd probably say them or the baby blues we wear. Sure. The baby blues are solid.
If you had to list a Storm Chasers teammate as your emergency contact, who would it be and why?
It definitely wouldn't be Eaton or Drew. They're bad with their phones. Honestly, it could be Dev or Devaney. Dev or Cam are usually, if you shoot them a text, they'll get back to you pretty quick. So I'd probably put Devaney in there. Devaney would probably be my emergency contact. Another Northeast guy, you can count on him, reliable,
Speaking of reliability, is there a teammate that you trust to babysit your daughter?
See, I would be okay with Nate babysitting her. He would be all right. They've been great. We've gone out to dinner a few times with them with the baby and stuff, and they've all, whether they've held her or played with her or whatever. So they've all been pretty good with it. But I would probably say Nate would be my guy if I had a babysit.
If you could choose a walk-up song for a teammate, what song would you choose? Who would it be and why?
I'd probably say maybe Waters on that, and I'd just find something as dumb as you possibly could find. Yeah, probably Waters, just to mess with him. He's a fun guy to mess with.
Which Storm Chasers teammate do you think can bench press the most?
Dan Altavilla. Yeah, I'd probably say Danimal. I don't know though. Nate's up there too. I'd probably say Dan or Nate. Dan or Nate for bench.
If you weren't playing baseball right now, what do you think you'd be doing for a career?
I either want to coach when I'm done. That's probably the direction I would most likely go. But if it was away from baseball completely, probably something with sales where I could be super competitive and kind of make my own hours. Yeah. I think the competitiveness from sports and what we've done our whole career has certainly, I think, would translate well to that.
Are there any conspiracy theories that you believe in, or one a hill that you'll die on?
Oh man, you're really hitting the good questions today. Yesterday we actually, me and Fitz started talking about the whole Antarctica thing. the ice wall and all that stuff. What's behind there? What's really going on in Antarctica? And yesterday we had the rain delay, so I think for about an hour and a half I was watching videos in the cage on Antarctica and the conspiracy theories behind that.
See, I don't know this one. I might have to go down a rabbit hole after this.
Yeah, it's a good one. I mean, there's some reports of aliens there. There's reports of military activity there all the time. Found out yesterday that the public's not allowed to just go to Antarctica and just openly explore. Found that out yesterday. So yeah, I would say that would probably be my one conspiracy theory.
Our social media manager, Nina, likes to do a deep dive on our players' Instagram, find a post to ask you about. Looking through your tagged photos, a picture of you and Kramer Robertson is pretty cute from Springfield in 2019. I get the sense that you and Kramer have a good, close relationship.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably the easiest way of putting it. Me and him have been. I got to know. There's a long backstory. Do we have time?
Let's go into it. Sure.
Okay.
Like if you have time, I'll take it.
The backstory behind mine and Kramer's relationship is. I like to sleep in, and he's like, hey, what do you want breakfast? And I tried to give him the most complicated order I could think of, like half asleep. I get on the bus, and he had the order exactly right, waiting for me on my seat. And from that moment on, me and him became almost inseparable until I left. We did everything together. He was in my wedding party. And he's the type of guy, I like to keep it loose. He likes to keep it extremely loose. And it's probably just one of those perfect pictures where he saw the camera, I didn't, and so that's where that face comes from. But me and him have an unbelievable relationship. I still talk to him probably every other night, maybe every night. We play video games against each other every single night if we can. So it's me and him are really close.
Brian O'Keefe, it's been fun to watch your success this year. I appreciate the time, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.